It's 1:30. I'd like to call the meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Commission for April 18, 2022 to order. We'll do roll call. Commissioner Varnell is not available today. Commissioner Littlefield. Present. Commissioner Russell.
Present.
Commissioner Hale.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Shoeline.
Here, sir.
Commissioner George.
Here.
And Commissioner Cornett.
Here.
Going on now to item 2, approval of the minutes of the March 21, 2022 meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Commission. Do we have a motion on this item?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner George. Do we have a
Second.
second? Second by Commissioner Hale. Do we have any talk on this item? Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 21, 2022 meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Commission from Commissioner George, seconded by Commissioner Hale. Vote, please. Item has been approved, all 7 in favor. Okay, we go to item 3, reports from Traffic Management and the Municipal Counselor's Office. You guys have anything?
All we have is our monthly report on yield signs installed administratively. And
Okay.
happy to answer any questions if you might have them about them.
Okay, ma'am? Nothing? Okay. There's no items on the consent docket, so we'll go on now to item 5, items for individual consideration. 5A, Gary Nolan, P.E., Smith Roberts, full-time passenger loading zone on the north side of West Sheridan Avenue from approximately 128 feet west to 201 feet west of the west curb line of North Robinson Avenue. Do we have anybody here who wants to speak on this item? Yes, sir. If I could have your name, address, and you'll have up to 5 minutes.
My name is Gary Nolan. I'm with SRB LLC, and I'm 100 Northeast 5th Street. I'm here to answer questions. I also have Dennis Wells. He's the architect. We're representing the owner, Devin. Just ask for approval.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else wanted to speak on item 5A? Okay, staff, do we have input?
This is just an application for a passenger loading lay-by, which will be constructed on the north side of Sheridan, west of Robinson. This is almost a companion to a lay-by that exists on the north side of Sheridan, a little bit further to the west. Staff would recommend approval of the item as presented before you.
Okay, do we have a motion for 5A? Mr. Chairman, I move we approve. Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Shoeline. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Littlefield. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion to approve 5A from Commissioner Shoeline, seconded by Commissioner Littlefield. Can we have your votes, please? Okay, item has passed. We're all in favor. Okay, we now go to item 5B. Yeah, you got one more, sir. Don't. That's why I said it real quick. We go on now to item 5B, Gary Nolan, P.E., Smith Roberts, to consider a valet loading zone within the passenger loading zone on the north side of West Sheridan Avenue from approximately 128 feet west to 201 feet west of the west curb line of North Robinson Avenue. Sir, you have any more input on that?
I'm just here to answer questions.
Thank you very much. Staff?
Okay, this is kind of an ancillary request to go along with the passenger loading zone just approved. This would allow a valet service to be able to operate within the limits of that passenger loading zone.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion concerning 5B?
Mr. Chairman, I move the application be approved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Shoeline. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Commissioner Littlefield. Any discussion?
I just had a quick question. So it says the Bike Walk OKC plan is that there's a tier 2 facility there, and that's not currently the case. So, like, is this gonna mess up what we got going on with our plans for Bike Walk OKC?
In this particular case, it should not, because they are built, what's being proposed is a lay-by, so it'll be built adjacent to the curb. It'll be out of the roadway. But at this point in time, there aren't any plans for a bicycle, there are no set plans for any bicycle facilities for this section of Sheridan as of yet.
I'm just wondering if we're creating, I guess, more conflict by allowing lots of in and out right into a bike lane from obviously a lot of cars that are trying to get in quickly and leave quickly. So that was just my question.
Any other talk on item 5B? Okay, we have a motion to approve 5B from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner Littlefield. Can we have the votes, please? Okay, item has passed with all in favor. Thank you for your time, sir.
All right, now, thank you.
Okay, now we go on to item 5C. Dr. Fred Adeskin, Chief Executive Officer, Aztec Charter Schools, to consider a school zone on the eastbound General Pershing Boulevard from approximately 180 feet west to 1,100 feet west of the west curb line of North Villa Avenue. Do we have anybody here to speak on this item? Okay, staff input?
All right, you've got our comments before you. This would be a location adjacent to an elementary school that was built by Aztec in 2020. We've conducted pedestrian studies on 2 different days, one in 2021 and one in March of this year, and we've observed no pedestrian activity in the vicinity of the school. So action on the item will be at the discretion of the commission. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion concerning 5C?
Mr. Chair, I move the application be approved.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Schuline. Do we have a second?
I would like to second.
We have a second by Commissioner Cornett. Do we have any talk on item 5C? Okay, motion to approve 5C from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner Cornett. Can we have your votes, please? Item has passed with all in favor. Okay, we go on now to item 5D. Brian Richards, PE, CFM, BWR Design Group, to consider reserved parking space for the physically disabled in a setback parking area on the south side of Northeast 9th Street from approximately 274 feet west to approximately 301 feet west of the west curb line of North Oklahoma Avenue. Do you have anybody here to speak on this item? Sir, if I can have your name, address, and you'll have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you. Brian Richards, the engineer, 4516 Abbey Circle, Edmond, Oklahoma 73034. So I'm here to answer any questions for this application.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Staff, do we have input?
You've got our comments before you. What's being proposed is a modification to an existing lay-by that's on the on the south side of 9th Street. The area has been being used for angle-type parking, but they're going to be converting over to parallel. The one ADA space would make structured parking around this particular block in conformance with minimum ADA requirements with respect to the number of ADA spaces based on the number of structured spaces. So action will be at the discretion of the commission.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have a motion concerning item 5D?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Schuline. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Russell.
Russell, thank you. Second by Commissioner Russell. Do we have any talk on item 5D? Okay, we have a motion to approve 5D from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner Russell. Can we have your votes, please? Item has passed with all in favor. Thank you for your time, sir. Okay, we go on now to item 6, comments from citizens. Anybody who wanted to speak to the Traffic and Transportation Commission? Okay, item 7, reports and other items from traffic commissioners, et cetera. So we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Littlefield. Did I hear that right? Okay. Hello. Now, if you want me We'll go to Commissioner Russell.
Well, I better pontificate if he's not going. No, I have nothing.
Nothing. Commissioner Hale.
Nothing, sir.
Commissioner Schuline. Commissioner George. And Commissioner Cornett.
Hi.
I got you.
Well, per your request, I would like to talk a little bit about the Congress for the New Urbanism conference that a few of us were able to attend at the end of last month. There were over 1,000 urbanists from all over the country, and there were actually some that were international as well that came to Oklahoma City to learn more about a lot of different facets, but transportation was, there were probably, I would say probably about 10 sessions that were on transportation issues, current versus like where we're going, moving forward with anything you can possibly think of. A lot of automated cars and that kind of stuff as well. But it was a really interesting, engaging group of people who took an interest in our city. I think once they got the context of who we are and where we came from, it made a lot more sense as to why they were hosting a conference here about urbanism. I think a lot of people had some concerns whenever they got here, like, what? Like, what? They still have a ways to go. We recognize that, and we're working to make it better. But once they got the context, then I think everybody was Team OKC. So it was a good time. Anybody else want to weigh in if you went to I know Stuart, I saw Stuart and Mary there, and I think JB had a few sessions. Were you able to go? Yeah.
All right, so JB, you don't want to say anything about it? Good, okay. Stuart, you were there? Was that a good review? Is there any lessons learned, anything that would help us, or are we going the right way, or are we already there?
It was an interesting experience. It was very different because most of the conferences I've gone to related to traffic and transportation have been more along a regulatory and an engineering line, and this is more of a philosophical planning approach. There's just different approaches to similar problems.
And anything that, so when we talk about our walk plan and our bike plan and our everything that we've been working on as a city the last 15 years, is that the way people want to go? Are we going the right way?
That's a tough question to answer.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm asking you. Well, I mean, is that the kind of things that the 1,000 people talked about? And
There were a lot of different philosophical approaches to doing things, and in a lot of respects, there's no one particular right answer for every solution. So it's very different. It was eye-opening.
so was it with the concept of making sure that the urban areas stay open to all modes of transportation, that kind of stuff, like we've been doing with the one-way streets to two-ways, the bike lanes, the bike routes, the walking trails?
I'll speak to that. One of the main, and Stuart, you can kind of add in whenever you're ready, but one of the speakers there was Jeff Speck, who is a notorious walkable advocate, but he actually was the one who did Project 180 here in Oklahoma City. And he'd walked everybody through kind of what the process was and where we started in all of our one-way 3-4 lane streets and why we were able to add on street parking and bike lanes into some things. I think that was obviously done 20 years ago, and his one takeaway was like, I wish I would have added more bike lanes. I know a lot more now than I did then, as far as making it easier for people who want to transport by non-cars. If you're gonna ease congestion, it's not just make the road wider so more cars can come through, add more sidewalks, add more bike lanes so that we can actually make people get to the places where they're just taking a mile or 2 miles to get there, take their cars off the street entirely by making it easier for them to get where they're going. So that's just the general, I guess, overarching philosophy on that. But CNU is all about, I mean, we talked about missing middle housing, so not your single family homes and not your apartment complexes, kind of the infusion of that into neighborhoods now, and even suburban retrofitting, where a lot of people are now kind of stranded in these neighborhoods that don't have access to, and then declining housing values, and then they don't have access to grocery stores or their local library or anything that is a public service to them. They have to own a car to get to something, just because we've built our cities
in that way. And so how can we retrofit and add more of those services into the neighborhoods to make it better for those people, and make it essentially where we're not going to have a ton of food deserts all over our city. We do have the ability to kind of get people where they need to go.
Okay, very good. Good. All right, Stuart, anything else? Counselor? Okay. Does anybody else have anything for the Traffic and Transportation Commission? All right, we stand adjourned.